So the original Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer was 8 years ago. Jesus, dude, we're so old. October 20th, 2016. Dude, they really revealed it like 2 years ahead of time. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wasn't it 2016 that they also revealed The Last of Us Part 2 for the first time with that like musical trailer where she's playing the guitar? I think that was 2016 as well. Like 4 years before The Last of Us Part 2 would launch. 2016 was a crazy year for reveals, man. Wasn't 2016 also the reveal of God of War, the reboot? I think so. Man, 2016 E3 was wild. There's probably never been a year like it before or, of course, since. But anyway, so we've got that trailer, Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer, first trailer on October 20th, 2016. And this, of course, got delayed a handful of times. You can see they did like follow-up trailers. This one, the second trailer was September 28th, 2017, like a year later. They announced it was coming October 26th of 2018. I remember people saying that the trailers looked fake because they looked too good. People said there's no way the game actually looks like this. And nowadays, like I look back on it and it looks amazing. I mean, obviously it still looks great, but it doesn't look as photorealistic as I remember it looking, you know? Still looks very good. But isn't that just amazing? How you go back, like I remember watching a video of the reveal of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, and they're at E3 filming interviews with gamers who are seeing the trailers for the first time. And they're like, it looks so photorealistic. I've never seen a game like this. It's getting hard to distinguish between real life and what is a video game anymore, which is really freaking funny because this is the trailer they were talking about. You know, like back in 2006, they're looking at this like, I can't tell the difference anymore between real life and video games. But times change. And then you see something even better and you're like, oh, wait, no, okay. And so it's just funny how things shift. But it's even funnier how at one time, Bethesda Game Studios was considered like a leader in tech in the games industry. Like they were considered to be one of the most graphically impressive studios. Like, it's kind of crazy how times change. Anyway, but they did that. Like Red Dead got a trailer like once a year, basically. Then they started getting a little bit more intense as we got closer to launch. They, of course, did an official gameplay reveal trailer. You can see this a few months before launch. They did a full gameplay trailer reveal where they just showed what it'll actually look like when you play and how it actually works. But they waited till pretty late to do that. It took a little bit of time, and they waited until it was good. Because the one thing Rockstar did not want was like a massive downgrade that would piss people off. Similarly to like, do you remember the OG Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer? I remember seeing this and also thinking this looked photorealistic. It's crazy, dude. Xbox 360, man. How crazy is that? Man, times change. Times change. Can't wait. But this brings the question of GTA 6. Like, what the hell is happening with that? Because at this point, it has been 14 months or so. Is it? I think maybe tomorrow or in the next few days, it will be officially 14 months. No, as of yesterday, 14 months. Okay, because it was December 4th of 2023. So we've heard nothing for over a year, which I don't think anybody expected. I mean, there's always the funny memes of, you know, GTA fans being insane and like, well, I looked at this frame and I counted the letters and I applied numbers to each of the letters and I added them together and I divided them by ponytail. And when you divide 376 by ponytail, then you can triangulate the length of the ponytail to get a number of inches of 16 inches. And then 16 inches is the same size, you know, people go crazy. But I still think, like, in the most basic terms, it was reasonable to expect that we would see something in 2024. And the fact that we have not seen anything for over a year tells me, at least, that the possibility of a delay is on the table. I mean, Jason Schreier has already reported and talked about from his sources within Rockstar that they are feeling good about the 2025 window that they've set forward, but it very easily could slip into 2026. I mean, even this, you see all the cars driving on the roads and stuff. If there's one bug that pops up because of something they changed in the last few months, and this one bug causes maybe NPC AI to demand a megabyte of extra RAM for each, and then you simulate the streets with 1,000 of these NPCs, all of a sudden we're in trouble. All of a sudden you've got major memory management issues whenever you're in the big cities. Your performance is tanking. Everything falls apart because of one little issue with one NPC taking a little bit too much RAM, and then the whole thing starts to spin. It makes you wonder how much dedicated RAM you need for a game like this. It's a lot. And already, like, there's been the reports of former Rockstar devs who are very confident that this game is they're aiming for 30 frames. There's no way that they're pushing for 60 or anything, especially if they have to maintain parity across Xbox Series S and everything. Because the main issue with Rockstar games traditionally are having to do with CPU bottlenecks, not necessarily like GPU bottlenecks. And that's not something that like the PS5 Pro magically fixes. It doesn't give you the extra headroom. That's according to people way smarter than me, to be clear. So it's possible that they were also wrong or whatever, and we do end up with a performance mode, but I think it's pretty reasonable to expect that GTA 6 comes in running at 30 frames. Still will be graphically amazing, still will be a great game, I'm sure, but any of these people who are like demanding 60 frames, otherwise they boycott, will probably find it a little disappointing, I think. But there's just so many things that can go wrong. And they are polishing and they are working in this. I mean, the other thing is Rockstar has a reputation of extreme quality and polish. That we're not talking about Ubisoft with little frictions, as Yves Guillemot, the CEO, said, where they fix it after launch. They don't want that. They want it to be the best thing you've ever played so that you buy 15 copies of it, just like GTA 5, you know? And already the level of detail is insane just in this trailer. But again, you would think if they were really confident about 2025, they'd have a little bit more to show. The original rumors and speculation was that they were going to be targeting a early 2025 release, like in the next few months. That obviously has not happened or materialized. So at this point, I think everybody is expecting maybe October, November, something like that of 2025. But that means, I mean, we're running out of time for all of this. But but even that statement, they're running out of time to market it. That would have made sense 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you kind of needed the traditional marketing cycle. You had to have the press events. You had to do the thing at E3. You had to go up and do the big presentation. Yeah, like that's what you had to do. And then you had to ship out the copies of the games to all the hardware, sellers and Target and Walmart and GameStop. Now, like you don't really need to. Now, if they just shadow drop this game, it will still break the internet. So they really don't need to worry that much about the traditional marketing cycle and techniques. If they wanted to release no trailers, nothing until launch day, and then they just casually in November are like, GTA 6 out tomorrow, it would still light the internet on fire. If anything, that might end up getting the game more attention than if they did like this traditional marketing campaign, because everybody would lose their minds. Everybody would be calling out of work. And then everybody's like, why is this store closed today? It's not a holiday. Yeah, because everybody called out of work for GTA 6. What's GTA 6? Let me Google it. All of a sudden, like all of the planet is talking about the game, okay? Like they can do whatever they want, which I think is the broader point. They can do whatever they want. So all the rules kind of break down when it comes to GTA 6 because it's so massive. That being said, do I think that they break all the rules and they just do their own thing and don't market it? No, I mean, I think they market the crap out of this. I think you'll see posters everywhere, TV commercials, you'll see all of that. They did it with Red Dead 2. They've done it with all their other games. I don't think they stop now, but I do think it means that in the context of the video game industry specifically, they probably don't need to do the IGN first. They probably don't need to do like a big reveal type of thing at Summer Games Fest or whatever. They can kind of pick their own battles. Now, could they end up at Summer Game Fest? It's not impossible. Jeff Keighley has, I believe Mafia was revealed at Summer Game Fest, was it not? Or was that Gamescom? Or was it, no, it was the Game Awards. It was a Jeff Keighley thing. So he has a relationship with them. And so it's not impossible that he could get a trailer or something for this. But then that begs the question, why does Rockstar need, and why does Take-Two need to even go to a show? I don't think they do. They could just, like they did with this, shadow drop the trailer not really shadow drop. I mean, it kind of leaked ahead of time, but then they released it. But they just dropped the trailer. It does 238 million views. Like, this is without being at a show. Typically, like with these types of games, you got the Doom Dark Ages trailer, you reveal that at your showcase, and then you also drop the trailer, and so you'd like double dip on viewership. With this, they don't need any of that. They can do whatever the hell they want. So all this to say, nobody has any freaking idea what's going on with GTA 6. It is strange we haven't heard anything in over a year. That to me makes it probably more likely than not that it does get delayed into 2026. I think the big, most telling thing is when we start to hear from earnings calls and stuff, any information about potential delays. I would not be surprised at all, though, if they end up delaying it to like February or March of 2026. You know, I think that would be very reasonable for them to do, give a little bit of extra time. And, you know, I think that would be perfectly reasonable. Plus, right now, as of right now, February of 26, there's like nothing I think officially scheduled. So I think that would make sense. What's the CPM of that single video? More than anything you could imagine. I'm sure. Every advertiser wants to be on the GTA 6 trailer, I'll tell you what. If it's supposed to release this year, no marketing, no trailer for it is concerning. It's more than likely will be delayed. Yeah, I mean, if they continue radio silent, which I don't think they even can. I mean, Take-Two's earnings call, February 6th. So here's the deal. With the earnings call on February 6th, they will be asked questions about GTA 6 launching this year from investors. If you guys are saying tomorrow, is it on the... Oh, because it's the 5th. I was thinking it was the 4th for some reason. I'm a mess, is what I'm saying. So with the earnings call tomorrow, like I would guess if there's no trailer dropped before the earnings call, so like later today, out of nowhere, then I think the odds are pretty good that they delay it. They'll just lie to appease investors. The problem for them is if they delay it out of the fiscal year, investors will be very upset because it's basically supposed to carry the entire financial year, make all their books look really good for the year, which is part of what drives a lot of stock movements. But it's such a massive game and their silence on it is deafening. You know, it's been very, very quiet. So, I mean, we'll keep an eye on it. I think we'll find out a lot tomorrow, but more than likely what I would guess happens tomorrow is that there's the earnings call. They say something like, yeah, we've decided to focus on quality first and foremost, and we're going to have to take a little bit of extra time. GTA 6 is now expected out in, they'll probably not even be specific, probably spring of 2026. And then collectively, every publisher on the planet will sigh a breath of relief and move on. I know maybe I'm out of the loop here, but I'm shocked that I'm only just now realizing she has an ankle monitor. Sounds like a good way to keep the player restrained in a certain area during the tutorial bits. Oh, you can't leave this zone until you progress in the main story. And you know, it's like Breath of the Wild with the Great Plateau. Can't jump until you have the glider. But with this, in this case, it's an ankle monitor. MMORPG 16 months. Ooh, baby. I think it would be funny if they delayed GTA 6 to see an ocean of other devs announce release dates for the next, or for the rest of 2025. Yeah, I mean, I do know that I know of at least like 2 big AAA games that are waiting to like lock in a release date until GTA 6 gets pinpointed. Nobody, if you got a big game, nobody wants to be close to it. The only games that are potentially immune are like remakes, because those I think are appealing to a different group. Nintendo, I don't think gives a crap. I think if Nintendo has the Switch 2 out in May, let's say, and then or maybe June, and then they have like a new Mario game that comes out 3 days before or after GTA 6, I don't think Nintendo gives a crap, because I think like Nintendo, their games are probably not cannibalizing a lot of it. Or if anything, like if they release a new Mario Kart, you're probably going to buy it regardless of when GTA 6 comes out. Even if you're playing GTA 6 in the moment, you're still going to buy Mario Kart the day after, or a week later, 2 weeks later. Like, you're still going to buy it. So I don't think that they really care that much. Matt, let's hope it will not be a big ass disappointment. I believe there is no studio safe from falling nowadays. Yeah, no, I mean, you should never ever think that a studio is above the pressures and crashes and whims of the fates. I remember an interview where Jeff Bezos was asked, do you think Amazon will collapse, go bankrupt, and shut down? And Jeff Bezos, at the time he was the CEO of Amazon, he said, absolutely. Without a question, one day Amazon will go belly up. He said, I just hope it happens after I die. Which, fair. But that's why, like, the East India Trading Company at one point employed roughly a third of the people on planet Earth. There is no company close to that scale, even today. And even that company went belly up. So no company is immune to mistakes or changing markets and different things. Like, stuff happens all the time. You know, I miss the East India Trading Code, don't we all? I need my spices. So in the gaming industry specifically, I mean, you got to remember also CDPR at one time after The Witcher 3, they were the kings of the industry. The idea that they would have a massive disaster on their hands with Cyberpunk 2077 was unconscionable. At one time, Bethesda, they were considered to be like the best developers in the world. With like right after Skyrim, nobody could come close to them. Hype levels for Fallout were insane. It was fine. They're even pretty good. Then Fallout 76 happens, and you know, ever since then, it's just been a nosedive in terms of their reputation. So no studio is immune. Like, I guarantee you that a day will come where From Software does something really stupid and insane that ticks everybody off. It will eventually happen because it happens to everybody. The hope is that they recover from it, or at the very least, it's a minimized mistake and it's not that severe. But it happens to basically every studio. I mean, no company's immune. Might take 20 years before you see them make that mistake, but the odds are it will eventually happen. Which is why always a little bit of cautious optimism, a healthy skeptical outlook. But there's also instances where I think it's not somebody's fault if they got conned. Like if you're just straight up lied to by a previously trustworthy source, I don't think that necessarily means you did anything wrong in believing that trustworthy source. You know, like to be specific, Rockstar only ever puts out gold, and then they release GTA 6 and it's a broken, busted pile of garbage, and it doesn't run, it doesn't boot, and it's just a glitchy, horrifying mess. Cyberpunk day one, No Man's Sky day one levels of garbage. I don't think you would have necessarily been foolish for falling for that because you were conned, you know? And there's been instances where you can't really avoid that too much because the media infrastructure in the gaming industry and in many industries is built on the premise that people are trying to be straightforward, at least, and companies are going to, of course, make their stuff look good, but they're not just going to outright lie to you. But that's kind of what we ran into with like Cyberpunk 2077, where they just straight up were trying to deceive people. They had the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the games that were disasters, unplayable, and they were still selling them to people, but they wouldn't let anybody share it. They didn't send out review codes for those versions of the game, only for the versions of the game that looked good and ran well. So they got people to buy it, even though that version of the game they knew was unacceptable. And that type of thing, like I don't think it's the customer's fault necessarily for being deceived. Like, I think the blame falls on the deceiver. Yeah, or like Watch Dogs 1 with the downgrades. Exactly. If they release a trailer that looks amazing and they say, no, this is the game, and then you buy it and it's not the game, that wasn't your fault because you looked at the trailer and they guaranteed you this is what it looks like. And then it turns out they were lying. Like, that is another great example. He took my thing. Red flag.